Let's get into this story where we could talk about Miss Campbell, who recently did an interview where she talked about why she did not come back for Scream 6. So they said Neve Campbell recently told CBS Mornings that she didn't think I could live with myself if she accepted the offer return for Scream 6. She said, when I made that decision, I just didn't think I could live with myself walking on set. I just didn't feel right. I just knew that my value to this franchise was bigger than what had been offered. For me, I needed to make that choice. She added this by saying, when I said goodbye to it, I thought that was it. I knew that there was a good chance that that would be it. She also explained that although it was tough knowing that the Scream 6 production team was having their first day of shooting and I wasn't there, she ultimately knew she made the right decision to bow out of the film. She added, when I spoke out about it, it wasn't really to sort of rally everybody. It was really just my truth at the time. And the fact that people got behind me, I got lovely support, and that was nice. And I do feel that other people need to make these choices. Now that it says Campbell, the longtime face of the Scream franchise, told Variety in 2022 that she would not be returning for the sixth installment because she felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value I brought to the franchise. She said, sadly, I won't be in the next film. As a woman, I've had to work extremely hard in my career to establish my value, especially when it comes to Scream. I felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value I have brought to the franchise. It's been a very difficult decision to move on. To all my Scream fans, I love you. You always have been incredibly supportive to me. I'm forever grateful to you and to what this franchise has given me over the past 25 years. And so now it's not even we're at the 25-year mark. Now we're at the 30-year mark. And so times they haven't changed. And I wholeheartedly agree with her. It's like whether or not you think you agree with the politics, we don't get into the politics of Scream and why I think they went back with Sydney in a second. But when you think about it, it's like, yeah, she has been the face since all the movies. We loved her in the original film. And she said because I've been watching a lot of these press junkets, that she's been on a lot of junkets, her and a lot of the cast. And she was saying, like, that was like around the time when she did The Craft and she did Party of Five, and it was in his first season. That was like the first time and people were really feeling a little janky about horror films anyway. Horror slasher movies, horror at that time was not particularly respected in 1996. So she was like, that was the time when people had offered me a lead role. And I was like, okay, this is different. I'm going to take it. And I wasn't really a particular horror movie person, but they were offering me a lead role. I went in and it was her and two other girls that were up for the part, and she killed it and got the role. And the rest is history. And the fact of the matter was, they wrapped this whole franchise around Sydney for so long that I feel like the Paramount, Skydance, or just the Scream franchise in general have backed themselves into a corner. And so the only thing they can do is rely on Sydney. They tried to do new people with the core four and coming in with the Carpenter sisters, but I have to just say that whole storyline, it was just janky. It wasn't like the strongest thing that they could possibly come up with in regards of who these girls are. And yes, one of them happens to be the illegitimate love child of Skeet Ulrich's character, Billy Loomis, because he was out there spreading his legs and laying down with everybody like he was Sharon Stone or something. That was a line from what he did about her mother. But Sydney's mother. So I was like, he was going around sleeping with these other girls. And I guess because Sydney wasn't giving him any, so he went and had sex with Christina Carpenter, and out came this girl. Um, um, so with all of that being said, once that whole thing happened with Melissa Barrera speaking out against the genocide that was going on in Palestine, and they decided to take a certain stance because we see what Spyglass and Paramount, what they really morphed themselves into, very white, right wing, very red state, very authoritative, because David Ellison's ass was at the freaking State of the Union yesterday. So if y'all thinking that David Ellison doesn't have political ties and is got some type of agenda he's trying to pull, you are correct in believing and thinking all those things, which I've been pointing out to y'all for the longest. But the reality is now they just making it obvious and not trying to hide it no more. And I truly feel that's why he wants Warner Brothers Discovery. It ain't about movies. I mean, I get he likes movies or whatever. It's a vanity project to him because he's got a lot of money, but you're trying to control our media. That's why you really want it. But that aside, once you get rid of two of your core four, don't come back because the other two was in the movie playing interns to Gail Weathers because that was revealed when they been on the on the interview circuit. When when it comes down to that, now all of a sudden it's like, where do we pivot? We can't bring in new people because then the fans won't be for it. The newer fans are going to be pissed because they didn't get the core four, or they didn't get because of Melissa Barrera. And the older fans, which like myself, who've been riding with this franchise since I was a kid, well, which would be the beginning, um, we're not going to be for some new. I was like, now you're trying to introduce some new people. Like, no. So they had to divert back to Sydney. So they had to back up the Brinks truck and offer her whatever they offer her. The word on the curb is she was offered $7 to $10 million. I don't necessarily know what the number is, but it's in that ballpark. And I think she has an executive producer credit, but I hope that it's an actual legitimate executive producer credit, that she has been heavily involved in shaping the movie and not just a producer credit like what Amanda Seyfried got in The Housemaid, which she admitted she was like, I was shocked when I saw the movie and they put my name as executive producer or whatever. She's like, I ain't do shit. It's like, how you signing me up for something? I was like, I ain't do anything. I just showed up and did the film. But they gave her credit. And so I hope it's not but I do feel like Neve is very passionate because this is like the biggest. I mean, she's done a lot of things, but to us, I guess she will always be Sidney Prescott. Just like when you look at Jamie Lee Curtis, she's done a gazillion movies and she's had a great career, but we will always know her as Laurie Strode at the end of the day, regardless how many damn Halloween movies she decides to do. So in this situation, I definitely feel like that's what it was. It was the fact that y'all had to go back to bit Neve and with your tail between your legs because you realize y'all fucked up by treating her the way y'all tried to treat her and trying to push out all the legacy characters and ushering these new people. And it wasn't registering because the Scream 5 and Scream 6, them scripts was a mess, especially when it got to the third act. So now it's like, okay, we got to back it up. We got to bring her back and then of course she had to go hit up Kevin Williamson because I would have loved to see a Christopher Landon directed Scream movie, but y'all went and harassed that man and he ain't do nothing, threatening his family and all this other stuff, and he bailed. So this is all Paramount Skydance playing it safe. And now it seems like the hardcore Scream fans are excited. People who love slasher movies that haven't been in this little bubble of all the political stuff that's been going on surrounding this movie are excited to see this film. And I look forward to seeing it when it comes out. So shout out to you, Neve. Um, and I'm looking forward to, like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie when it comes out. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the Scream 7 numbers? Because they could probably do good. I don't know. They'll probably fall off a bit on the second week because it's always the first week when you got to see these type of movies, and they've got a pretty good runway of they can make money because there's not really anything great coming out until I think mid-March. So they can possibly make a mint. Oh, for the next 2, maybe 3 weeks, we could push for until Ready or Not 2 comes out, and that's when I'll be excited. That and when is the movie where Zazie Beetz comes out where she got to kill all the damn devil worshippers in that hotel? Does that come out next month or in April? I gotta look that up, but that's another one I'm looking forward to seeing. So the girls are kicking ass in horror. And that's why we love it, because that's the one place that women are allowed to shine and thrive in, a specific genre. It's the slasher film industry, horror movies. We love seeing strong women in those roles. So let me know what you guys think of this story. If you're excited to see Scream or whatever the case is, in the comments down below.